Here we are. Yes. Okay. So little technical difficulties. There we go. All right. So we'll get started in just a moment. Today we are going to have a slow but strong practice. So sometimes when you think about the strengthening aspects of yoga, you think about a more vigorous vinyasa, something faster paced, power flow, but you can still get a lot of those strengthening benefits, even going at a nice, slow pace. So we're going to breathe into the shakiness today. So let's get started in a easy pose, Sukhasana. We'll start with a dynamic warm-up, get your body moving a little bit, warm up the muscles, and then we'll find some of that stillness. So sitting up tall, inhale, reach the crown of your head towards the ceiling. As you exhale, feel the weight of your sit bones grounding into the earth beneath you. Close your eyes. Start to balance your breath, finding an equal count with each inhale and exhale. Doesn't really matter how high or low you count, how fast or slow you count. You just want this to be an even, balanced breath. And once you have established that balanced breath, try bringing your breath a little bit deeper into your body. Imagine filling up from your lower belly and releasing from your chest down. Take note of what's going on around you, any sounds, smells, maybe the temperature of the room, the feeling of your clothing against your skin. And then start to take note of what's going on within you. Noticing areas where your breath is already flowing freely, and maybe there's areas where it feels a little stuck, a little congested. Being mindful of areas of your body that may be a little sore or tight and asking for extra care and attention. Maybe you have areas that are a little more open and ready for a challenge. And then tuning in a little bit deeper, notice the thoughts that are bubbling around in your head. Try setting aside anything you don't need for this time today. Whatever's important to you will be waiting for you when we're done. And the things that are not so important, maybe you just practice letting those go. So let's take a big cleansing breath together. You're going to inhale deeply through your nose, fill your body up as much as you can. When you get to the top, try to sip in just a little bit more air. Open mouth, exhale. Flutter your eyes open. Now start moving. So with an inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, side bend to the right. Lower your right arm down. Reach your left arm overhead. This is a good place to bring in the blocks if you like to bring the ground a little closer. Roll your left shoulder onto your back. You're going to find openness through your chest, through your side body, and make sure there's not a rotation in your spine. It's just a side bend. Push down through your left sit bone so you're not teetering onto the right. And really stretch your fingertips away from your armpit. With your next inhale, return to neutral, come up right, stretch your both arms overhead. And then exhale to the other side, left arm down, right arm reaches. So same options as the first side. Your body may not want the same options, but they're still available to you. With your next inhale, come back upright. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, back upright. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, back to neutral. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Inhale, rise your arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the right. Come into your twist and then open your arms out to cactus arms. On your cactus arms, your elbows are in line with your shoulders, middle fingers point up. You're squeezing your shoulder blades together, but you're not puffing your chest out. That's a different version. So we're keeping a neutral spine in terms of length, but you're rotating coming from your waist and your lower belly. Inhale back to center, both arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the left and cactus arms. Again, squeezing the shoulder blades together, trying not to arch your back. Still sitting tall. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale, twist right. Inhale to neutral and exhale, twist left. Inhale to neutral. Exhale, palms together and down to your heart. Now swap your legs around so the opposite foot is in front. And we'll use that same pattern and move with your own breath. So allow your breath to be your rhythm. Don't worry about how fast or slow I'm talking or moving or what you think you should be doing. There's no shoulds here. So then inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale to neutral. Exhale to the left. Inhale to neutral. Exhale, twist right. Inhale. Exhale, twist left. Good, let's do it again. Inhale. Exhale, side bend. Inhale. Exhale, side bend. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale, twist. All right, you're doing it alone this time. I'm not going to cue you through it. Follow your own breath. I'm meeting in neutral with one more inhale. Exhale, palms together and melt down to your heart. Close your eyes. Tune into your breath. Notice your energetic body here. Notice if your breath is a little faster, heavier now that you added that movement. Calm it back down. Notice if you can feel the energy moving through your body a little more freely. Flutter your eyes open and meet me in tabletop. In your tabletop, you're going to bring your wrists under your shoulders, middle fingers point forward. Knees are under your hips. When you look back between your knees, you don't want to see your feet. Tops of your feet are down, pressing into the floor, shins press into the floor, navel towards your spine. In neutral tabletop, your neck is really long here, so make sure your head's not falling down or looking forward. Then inhale, try to sit your tailbone towards the back of the wall behind you and the crown of your head to the front wall ahead of you. So see if you can grow a little bit taller through your spine here. Press your hands a little harder into the mat. See if you can create a little more space between your shoulder blades. Then check out the inner creases of your elbows. Try turning them forward. Feel that slight rotation in your shoulders. Good. This is an awesome shape. You're going to try to hold this shape as we move into this next pose, hovering tabletop. From here, tuck your toes underneath. And you're going to lift your knees up on your exhale. But when you do so, only go as far as you're comfortable. So if it's just a tiny little lift, that's okay. If it's only lifting one knee at a time, that's okay. Try not to lift too high here. So the goal is to get your shins parallel with the floor and try to keep your knees under your hips. So again, if you don't make that today, totally fine. Do what you can do. It's getting ready. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to lift. And go through that checklist we just reviewed that you did in your tabletop. Everything's the same except for your knees are lifted. Really pay attention to your hands here. Press your finger pads down. This will help distribute your weight between both hands and all the way around your hands. If you allow your weight to sink into the heel of your hands, it's going to fatigue your wrists a lot quicker. Make sure you're still breathing. One more breath here. And when you come to your next inhale, go ahead and lower your knees down. Let's take a child's pose. Big toes together. Widen your knees towards the edges of the mat. Melt your hips back towards your heels. You can either walk those arms forward or relax your shoulders a little more, bringing your hands by your feet. One more breath in your child's pose. And meet me on your belly. Line your hands up so the tops of your fingertips align with the tops of your shoulders. The tops of your feet are pressing into the mat. Inhale, lift your chin and chest up, baby cobra. And then try lifting your hands up off the mat. So this is step one. You can stay here. If you'd like, you can stretch your arms out in front of you. This will create more resistance. Or you can come into those cactus arms again for a little bit more chest opening. So as I mentioned, this is just step one. If you'd like to go a little further, try lifting your feet up off the floor. As yogis, we kind of have it in our brains to breathe deeply into our bellies. And if you do that here, you're going to find a rocking motion. So really focus on sending that air and energy and expansion to your lower back instead. Continue to breathe softly, fully, deeply. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Take one more big breath in. Exhale, release down to the mat. Turn your cheek to the mat. Rest your hands beside you. Let your shoulders melt down towards the floor. Let your heart melt down into the floor. Notice that heartbeat. Notice if it's a little fast, a little heavy right now. Maybe extend your exhale for a few breaths to help calm it back down. Okay. From here, join me in a plank pose. So we have a couple options here. You can modify your plank, bringing your knees to the floor. If you come into modified plank, make sure your knees are as far back from your shoulders as they can go. You want to make sure you're not dipping your hips down and you're not sticking your hips up. So a nice long line between your shoulders and your knees. Other option is to come up to your toes. Same rules apply. Nice long line of energy. Don't let those hips droop down or stick up. And then think about your tabletop and your hovering tabletop, all those things that you engage to create stability and support. See if you can find those again here with your legs stretched long. Keep reaching the crown of your head away from your tailbone. Try not to allow any wrinkles in the back of your neck. Stick with me here, just a couple more breaths. I said we're going slow today. One more deep breath in. And a full breath out. Lower all the way down to your belly again. Bring the opposite cheek to the mat and rest your arms beside you. Two more breaths here. And with your third breath, you guys are going to love this. We're going back to plank. So again, whichever variation you would like right now, on your knees or on your toes. Remember, you can change your mind. You're not committed. Just try something. Good. So keeping your elbows above your wrists if you're on your toes. Inhale here, exhale, start to lean forward a tiny bit, bend your elbows, and lower your shoulders about 1 inch. If you're on your knees, you don't need to worry about shifting your shoulders forward. Let your elbows come back. Good. And then wherever you are, use your next exhale. See if you can lower just another little bit, maybe another inch or two. And another inch or two. And one more. See if you can hover parallel with the ground for 3, 2, 1, and release. Go ahead and rest your arms beside you. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale, side out through your mouth. Good. Now meet me back in tabletop. We'll give those wrists a little bit of a break. So from your tabletop, inhale, stretch your left leg behind you. Exhale, step on the outside of your left hand. So your wrists are still under your shoulders. You're going to tuck your right toes under and lift your knee. So this is step one. This is where you are today. That's fine. If you'd like to go a little bit further, try coming down onto your elbows, coming into your lizard pose. So I'm sorry if you're up here, your wrists don't get as much of a break, but you can do it. You're strong. You can always come to your fist if your wrists are getting a little more fatigued. You can use blocks to bring the ground closer if going all the way down to the mat is not quite there for you. Choose your own adventure. Have fun with it. Really try lifting up through the back of your knee. You don't want the knee to bend. It's going to pull your hips down, so push through your heel. Again, no wrinkles in your neck. Keep your neck long. Continue to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Sing it with me if you want, or not. That's fine too. If you're down on your elbows, come up to your hands. You're going to take a big step forward with your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Drop your hips low, come into a squat for a few moments. So Malasana is one of my favorite poses. It's going to be in many of my practices. You're always welcome to sit on something here. So you can sit on a block or whatever else you have handy. If you have a pretty deep sit, I invite you to lift your hips up a little bit so you're not collapsing into it. You're not just kind of sinking into it. So you're using a little bit of effort to hold yourself up. Just 3 more breaths of this. We'll be done soon. When you find your 4th breath, bring your hands down to the floor. Big step back with your left foot, getting ready for the lungy thing on the other side. So you can be up on your hands. You can come down to your elbows. You can use those blocks and do something in between. So you may start to feel some shakiness, a little bit of discomfort. Those are good things. As long as it's not painful, you'll be fine. You'll survive. You're almost there. Just a couple more breaths. Down on your elbows, come up to your hands. This time, instead of going to tabletop, we're going to step back to downward facing dog. So take a few moments here to pedal out through your feet if you'd like, maybe lifting and lowering your heels, maybe undulating the spine, whatever feels good to you. And eventually making your way to stillness, just like in the other poses where we were weight bearing in our hands, fingers wide, finger pads down. You're going to act like you're pushing the mat away from you here. That's going to help lengthen your spine, push your hips towards the wall behind you. Remember, you can always bend your knees more generously if you'd like. You can lift your heels as high as they want to go. This is your practice. Customize it. Make it your own. So one of the advantages of a slower practice, which doesn't always mean easier, is that we can go deeper into our postures in a different way. So rather moving physically into a more intense position, folding forward deeper, twisting more, bending sideways, things like that, we can look for a little bit more comfort in areas that make us uncomfortable. So sometimes your breath gets a little fast, a little heavy, gets kind of shallow. You can become more comfortable in your breath. You can practice slowing your breath down, calming it, finding that same breath that you begin your practice with. You can also try to get a little more comfortable mentally, knowing that it's okay to be here, to be still. You don't have to go, go, go. You don't have to always be moving. And you're safe here. This is your place to be, whatever you need to be. Just enjoy your time. All right, so you're welcome to stay put in your downward facing dog, or if you'd like to play a little bit, walk your right foot to the center of your mat. Inhale, lift your left foot up, three-legged dog. Press through your heel. Toes stay down so your hips are even. Shoulders are even, so press equally into both hands. Keep pressing the hands deeply as if you're pushing the mat away from you. Option to keep playing. Inhale, come forward to a one-legged plank. Option to throw in a little chaturanga. If you're in the plank, inhale, back up, three-legged dog. Exhale, release. Let's go to the other side. Left foot into the center of your mat. Inhale, right foot lifts. Square up your hips. Square up your shoulders. Press through your heel and breathe. Option to keep playing. Inhale, come forward to plank. Option to throw in that little chaturanga. Inhale back to three-legged dog, and exhale, release. Start to walk your hands back to your feet. And do whatever feels good to you here. I'm going to offer gorilla pose. So tucking your hands underneath your feet, palms to soles. If you prefer a ragdoll, you can do that. If you have any other options that feel good to you, go for it. Take a few breaths here. And if you're standing on your hands, go ahead and release them. Using an inhale, slowly, slowly, slowly roll your spine, come up to standing. And relax, mountain pose. All right, so from here, we're gonna set up to warrior two legs. Step forward with your left foot, bend into your left knee so your knee is over your ankle. Your right foot is either parallel with the back of the mat or inward slightly. You want to be able to press the outside edge of your foot into the mat. So you can make this as long or as short of a stance as you'd like. And then bring your hands to your hips. We're going to hang out with hands on the hips for a few moments here. Hands, hips and shoulders are facing the side wall. Shoulders are relaxed. And then think about the way that your hips are positioned here. You want to think of bringing the inner left thigh upward, so slight outward rotation. And that's going to help prevent your knee from falling in. And then with your back leg, you want to think about turning the top of your thigh inward, so a little inward rotation. But when you have these rotations in your hips, make sure you're not swiveling. Hip points are still sideways. Okay. From here, take a peek forward, stretch out your left arm, turn your palm that way, sideways, the same side as your belly. Inhale, reach forward, exhale, hinge, bring your forearm on the inside of your thigh. So you're not bending your elbow and resting here. You're using your core strength to hold your torso up. And an option to keep this right hand on your hip or stretch it up towards the ceiling. It's not doing anything fun, it's just straight up. So while you're here, imagine drawing your two heels towards each other without actually moving your feet. So feel that engagement through your legs. Feel that strength, that heat, that stability. And then really press this forearm into your thigh into your forearm. Feel that in your shoulder girdle. Make sure you're still breathing. There's a lot going on here. You turn your gaze to the floor, to the ceiling, anywhere in between that feels good to you. Holding here for 2 more breaths. Ooh. When you find your 3rd breath, inhale, lift your torso, straighten that left leg. Turn your toes sideways. So you're in a wide leg stance, turn sideways here. You're gonna inhale, jump your feet together, exhale, chair pose, bring your hands to your heart. So in your chair pose, let's see, there you go. You wanna make sure you're not arching your back, you're not sticking your hips out. Think about turning your tailbone down, front of your pelvis up. So you're still drawing your navel in towards your spine. And if you want to go a little deeper here, either finding that comfort in your breath, that comfort with being here in that tremble, or sitting back and down rather than hinging forward. So your heart shines forward. Another inhale here, and another exhale here. Inhale, come up, hop your feet wide, and we're going to take that side angle in the other direction. Turn your right toes to the new front of your mat, the front of the back previously known as the back of your mat. Find that perfect angle with your left ankle, making it feel good for you today, maybe different tomorrow. Line your right knee up over your heels, square up those hips to the side wall. And start dragging your feet towards each other without actually moving them. And from here, inhale, stretch that right arm out, palm facing sideways, shift your shoulders forward, exhale, hinge, press your thigh and your forearm together. Option to keep the left hand here or stretch it way up. Just keep breathing. Notice all the little muscles that are activated in your body right now to hold this shape. Notice if there's any areas that you can soften a little bit that don't need to be engaged. Notice the areas that can be engaged just a little bit more to make you that much stronger. There's so many things you can notice while you're just hanging out here. Three more breaths. When you find your fourth breath, inhale, lift up, release your arms, straighten that right leg, turn your toes. We're not going to do another chair pose. We'll do something else that's fun. So toes are pointing forward. This time, draw your heels in so your toes rotate towards the edges of your mat. You'll start to bend your knees, bringing your knees over your ankles. You want your knees to track towards your toes. So if your toes are too straight forward, your knee's going to go sideways. It's not going to feel good. So try to keep your shoulders above your hips. You can even do this against a wall if you like a little support and you want to check out your alignment. Bring your hands to your heart. See if you can drop a little bit lower if it's comfortable or if you're able to. And try opening your arms up, palms up. Now try for cactus arms. Bend those elbows, middle fingers point out, squeeze the shoulder blades together, but try not to arch your back. Keep that nice strong spine. Option to stay put, or you can play around here, lifting up your right heel, or left heel if you're looking at me sideways, whatever. One of your heels, doesn't matter which one. And bring it back down. Try for the other one. And bring it back down and try both of them. I got popcorn heels today. And bring them back down. Inhale, straighten your arms, straighten your legs. Exhale, hinge forward, turn your toes forward. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose and out through your mouth. From here, plant your palms, heel toe, your feet towards each other. Bend your knees and sit down. Grab a sip of water if you'd like. And meet me seated. We're going to come into Navasana, or boat pose. So in boat pose, you want to make sure you don't roll back onto your tailbone. If you feel this starting to happen, reset, come back up, find your weight onto your sits bones, and try again. So you can just stay here with your feet barely lifted if you're still working on creating that balance and being safe in your pose. If you'd like to play with me, keep on going. Remember that I'm just here to offer suggestions and options. You don't have to do anything the way that I say it. Make this your own practice. So coming up into that baby boat first. Maybe you lift your heels up in line with your knees. Maybe you let go of your legs. Remember, your weight is still on your sits bones. You're not rolling back onto your tailbone. Spine is long. You're not rounding here. If you'd like to play a little bit, maybe you try straightening out your right leg. Bring it back. Straightening out your left leg. Bring it back. Straightening out both legs. Bring it back. Straighten out your arms. Bring them back. Bring them down. Bring them sideways. Overhead. Whatever feels good. Play around with it. Maybe you want to hang out with your cactus arms here in your full boat. Continue to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. 2 more breaths here. Whatever variation you're in, you can do it. Just 2 more breaths. And when you find that 3rd breath, bring your feet to the floor, knees wide, fold over your lap. Let's take a cleansing breath here, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Inhale, come back up. Bring your knees together, scoot forward, and slowly come onto your back. You can use your core to do this, extending your arms, moving slowly with your exhales. If you're not feeling that, you can just go back and lay down. Well, however you want to get down here, meet me on your back. And keeping your knees bent, walk your heels in so they're underneath your knees. Palms rest on the floor beside your hips. Fingers point towards your toes. See if you can scoot your shoulder blades slightly together. So you're opening up through your chest. Take a deep breath in. On your exhale, lift your hips up into bridge. So imagine there is a block in between your knees and you're squeezing into it. So you're not actually moving your legs, but energetically you're engaging your thighs. You're pushing them towards each other without movement. See if you can lift your hips a tiny bit higher. See if you can relax your shoulders down towards the mat. Try to lift your hips a tiny bit higher if you'd like. And stay put in your bridge pose, or you can try lifting up your left foot. Try not to let your hips dip down if you lift your foot. Keep it stretched. And bring that left foot back down. Reset. Keep those hips high. Try stretching up your right foot. And release it down. Lift those hips as high as they'll go right now. Keep your palms and your feet pressing into the floor. Breathe. When you come to your next exhale, slowly, gently lower your spine down to the floor, melting one vertebrae into the mat at a time. Once your lower back settles down, draw your knees towards your chest, and you can rock from side to side, draw circles with your knees, whatever feels good here. And come back to center. A little close to the wall, so I'm going to move over. And then open your arms out wide, and you can keep them in straight lines, or you can bring them to cactus arms. You're going to lift your knees up above your hips, and your heels are in line with your knees. You can put a block here if you'd like in between your knees, or you can try to keep this little bit of space. Inhale here. With your exhale, lower your knees to the right so they hover 3 inches off the floor, or as close to that as you can get. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, over to the left, hover 3 inches off the floor. Inhale up. Exhale to the right, 2 inches off the floor. Inhale up. And exhale to the left, 2 inches off the floor. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right, 1 inch off the floor, barely hovering. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left, barely hovering. One more time, up and over, inhale. And exhale, come all the way into your twist. Tuck your right hip under your left. Both shoulders are still grounded on the floor. You can stay in this version of the twist. You can extend your bottom leg. You can extend your top leg. You can stretch both out. Whatever feels good to you. Whatever variation of the spinal twist you would like to rest in here for a few moments. Take one more big breath in, and a full breath out. Inhale, bring your knees back up to center, use those core muscles, hips back into center, then exhale over to the left. Tuck your left hip under your right, and settle into your twist. Whatever you want it to be on this side. Start to let go of all that effort you've been using so far in your practice. Try to allow your physical body to start to ease into that parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest state. One more big breath in, and a full breath out. Inhale, come back to center, hips back to center, hug your knees towards your chest, wrap your arms around your shins, nose towards your knees. With an inhale, stretch your legs out long, arms out long, and exhale, release. Coming into your Shavasana, your variation of relaxation. Whatever position this is to you, whatever props will help make this the most comfortable position you've been in all day. Close your eyes and allow your breath to return to normal. Relax your toes, feet, and ankles. Relax your calves, shins, knees, and thighs. Relax your hips, buttocks, abdomen, and chest. Relax your low back, middle back, and your upper back. Relax your shoulders, your upper arms. Relax your forearms and your hands. Relax your neck and relax your head. Notice if you're scrunching your eyebrows, clenching your jaw, or squeezing your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Allow your face to relax. there's any area of your body not totally relaxed right now, inhale to send your awareness, your energy, your prana there. As you exhale, encourage it to relax and let go. Notice any thoughts, any feelings that don't serve you. Do you find anything you don't need to take with you today? Inhale just to notice that it's there. Exhale, encourage it to move on and let go. Allow yourself to lie here, still and relaxed, in body and mind, for a few more moments. Start to bring your awareness back to your mat. Start to bring your awareness back to your body. Bring some gentle movement to your body. Move your toes, fingers, ankles, and wrists. Rock your head from side to side. Stretch your arms out long. Give your body whatever gentle movements you need to help reawaken right now. Hug your thighs towards your belly one more time. Give yourself a big squeeze and roll over onto the right side of your body, finding the fetal position, using your arm as a pillow, tucking your knees towards your chest. Rest here. Breathe in and breathe out. And again, breathe in and breathe out. When you're ready, press yourself upright and come to a comfortable seat. Try to keep your eyes closed here. Sitting with a tall spine, use an inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your palms together and melt them down to your heart. Inhale, lift the corners of your mouth and smile. Thank yourselves for coming to your mat today and spending a little extra time, energy, and love on you. Namaste.